So just recently, I've been wanting to get more into my graphics and work in print and advertising. So yeah, I'm working on a couple projects right now that I had assigned for myself, and so far so good. I finished a social media post and Instagram ad. I also created a music festival poster. So I'm going to sit here at my drafting table and get started on some previews or some layouts because that's just how I work. So yeah, and also while I am working, I like to put on like a comfort movie. I thought about playing music, but there's something about music that I just don't want to like hear right now. I just don't want to hear music right now. So I'd rather hear something like more comforting, more something that I don't really have to pay attention to. So I'm gonna put on like one of my favorite comfort movies and sketch up these layouts and get to work. I've gotten a lot of questions regarding this drafting table and where I got it from and like the brand of this table. The answer is my brother-in-law got it for me at an estate sale. But if you are interested in getting a drafting table, I would highly recommend you guys do some research via Google. Some tables are available on like Amazon or eBay. I do know that eBay would be a good place to find them because a lot of vintage pieces are found on that site. So yeah, guys, if you guys are interested in getting a drafting table, I highly suggest you guys do research on those platforms. Started on a project, I like to get out a few materials, and those materials are graph paper or a piece of paper, ruler, pencil, and a neat eraser. And the reason why I like to do things the old way is because I don't like relying on technology, and I love the fact that I could store these ideas and they will never get lost. But I just love the fact that I can just like lay out everything by pencil, and it just feels more hands-on. So I spent about 3 hours creating layouts. Take a much needed break, and during that much needed break I went to the park, got some sketching done, and met up with my sister. So my sister and I made a priority to meet up like once or twice a week to shoot content for ourselves, for our brands. While she did her thing, I did mine. We are identical twins, by the way. She is 9 minutes older than I am. I will link pictures, but yeah, we usually meet up like frequently to shoot some content and have lunch together. Finally, it is the weekend, which means road trip. It's been a hot minute since we've been on a road trip. So my husband and I were like, let's go. There's nothing's going to stop us from going on this trip. We are going. So we decided to pick 3 places. Number 1 was White Sands. Number 2, Lincoln National Park. 3 was Mesilla. And we had a blast. We've been to White Sands before, twice, but we love going back because it is such a magical place. And if you guys have not gone to White Sands, you guys have to go. It is amazing.
Yeah, I think we're good. We left our mark, so y'all see this? How?
So after that much needed road trip mini vacation with my husband, I gained so much creativity. And mind you guys, I had creative block for, I think, about 3 weeks, maybe a month or 2. And it's amazing how getting out of the studio and taking time for yourself really does change everything. And at times when I do get artist block, I get afraid. I'm afraid of having that artist block forever, because there has been times to where I've had artist block and it's lasted like 4 or 5 months. I think even before COVID. Actually during COVID, that was probably the longest I went without creating. So I haven't created literally in like a year, and it was so crazy for me because, like I said, I've never gone that long without creating art. So After COVID, of course, that's when I started, thinking about my future and like started doing things that inspired me, which then led to me building my portfolio again. So in this instance, going on this trip, going back to what I was stating about my trip, I just saw so many beautiful things that made me or fueled me, which was the result in creating or even starting this new painting. So this painting in particular is called Sister's Keeper. This is a portrait of my sister. As I mentioned before, I am an identical twin. We are very close. So I wanted to paint something that was very meaningful for me. And being a twin is such an amazing, it's been an amazing journey being a twin. And I can't even explain, every time someone asks me how it is being a twin, it's literally the best feeling to have connection 24/7. So this painting is so special for me because it just expresses my love for her and our sisterhood. So yeah, I'm really excited about this painting and a little nervous because I haven't painted a portrait on canvas before. And what I am doing now is I'm sketching out the painting on plastic so that way I can project it to my canvas, which I will show you guys in just a moment. So for this process, I already created the illustration, as you guys can see, and then I got myself some plastic. I was going to use something more flatter, more stern, but I didn't have that in the studio. So I said, okay, you know what, at this point, we're going to have to use what we have. So I made the best out of that situation, and I was able to get my drawing onto this piece here. So in terms of like the time it took for me to actually finish this, it took me maybe like 15-20 minutes because I did mess up a couple of times. And being that I am working with a Sharpie marker, I can't erase. So it took a few tries for me, and I do have a shaky hand because I drink too much caffeine. So yeah, I spent so much time doing this, which is okay because I usually I started this piece like really early in the morning just so that I could give myself enough time, at least from like 8 to 2 to do this, and then of course get some videos in for my YouTube. So now I'm done with my design. It is now time to transfer my art to the canvas. So this projector I got off Facebook Marketplace for only $15, which is a huge steal. These usually range from like 200 and up. And I was really shocked that they still had these in stock because the last time I seen one of these was in middle school or junior high. So I was really lucky enough to find this projector, and I've used it so far for my murals, and I am of course now using it for my canvas. I haven't used it for a canvas yet, so I was really excited that I didn't have to start off with a grid or anything. So yeah, this definitely saved me some time. But of course during the process I messed up. I didn't realize here that it was going to be too big, so I went back to my projector and it wasn't working out. So here I walk back to the camera and show you guys my disappointment because I was just so pissed because I literally spent an hour making the design and perfecting it. But you learn from your mistakes. So now I know if I am working or when I'm working on a projector that I have to keep in mind of the size, because I'm in a small compact space, which is another thing that I've learned when using a projector. So if you are in a larger space, it would make sense to have the design a little bit larger. And then of course, if you're in a smaller space, to make your design smaller. So I spent maybe, 15 minutes doing this, and then I had to print out a brand new piece, which is okay because I didn't have, that's why I printed out in black and white, so that way I'm not wasting ink. So in terms of the sketching, it took me about 30 minutes it took me about 10 minutes to sketch it because it was much smaller. So yeah, I took some time to do that and really just make sure that I wasn't rushing through it because I rush things a lot. So I just took the time to, really make sure that everything was done. So we're about to transfer the design back to the projector, and we're good to go. So you see the size difference there. It's much different than the first half, and I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it's now onto the canvas. I'm just shifting it and moving it around for it to fit the canvas, and this alone took me 15 minutes to do, only because I had to go back and forth and fix up some lines and then have to put it back on the projector and the whole shebang. So I managed to get the design on the canvas. Now, to keep in mind of the size and my space when starting on a new project. One thing that I can take away from this experience creating a portrait on canvas for the first time and using a projector to help me project my art onto the canvas is that even though I did trace my design to the canvas, I did end up having to redo a couple of lines. I had to erase a couple more times and really make sure that the design was exactly how I wanted it to be. So that was the only challenging part. But all in all, the projector really did help me figure out exactly where things should go and not have it look too out of place. So yeah, I really enjoy the process, and I do plan on creating another portrait style painting again because it was so much fun. And yeah, I just sat in my studio for the last, or let's say, hour or two, just finishing up the painting, and then I believe after that I started painting right away because I could not wait. So I was like, okay, let's get this done all in one day. Something on Instagram, and it was in relation to using a projector to project their art onto their canvas. So for many years I've used a projector, and I am not ashamed. And over the years I've realized how much a projector has saved me so much time from the stress and from creating a design from scratch. Especially if you are an artist that are painting really large scale canvases, or let's say you're painting a mural or anything that is large scale, it is crucial to find a tool or something to help you get it done faster. And I know with some of these projects, we are working with clients, which is also another, deal. So making, that process smoother for you is so crucial. And I strongly advise those artists or artists that are watching this right now to not consider using a projector. It is a great tool, especially if you are using your own work. I don't consider it cheating. I see it as something that can help guide you and have you spend lesser time on a piece. So that is my whole take on it. If you guys have any experiences as to what was said to you when you were using projector, or how you feel about a projector, let me know down below. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Aside from projectors and the overall process so far, I wanted to share a bit on what has been going on lately artistically and mentally, because that is a huge factor as to my entire process. So I had artist block for a couple of weeks now, and I just started painting again because there's so much that I have to get done. So this is a typical day for me, okay? So I usually wake up, and I try to follow the schedule, by the way, which has been a huge fail because I'm trying to squeeze in everything all in one day, and sometimes I forget that I'm one person and I can't do too much at one time. So I'm learning day by day to just take it step by step and organize my days just a little bit better and not have too much tasks piled up in one day, because eventually that does lead to burnout, which is what happened a couple days ago. So that just made me not want to create content at all for my YouTube channel, for my social media, or let alone create art. And since I am a full-time artist, it does get hard because I can't just sit around and not do anything. So I have to do something in order to, keep the momentum going, and of course, continuously market my artwork. So that's also something that I'm struggling with a lot because I don't have someone to help me with marketing. I have to be creative and learn how to market my art on various platforms and creatively and things of that nature. So yeah, just incorporating, the business aspect and, creating proposals and contracts, and then having to create the art, then having to create content, and then also keeping in track on like my posting schedules, which is like really, really, really hard. And I knew this was going to be hard, but I didn't know it was going to be this hard. Okay. So it has been a roller coaster in itself, but I think like right now things are getting better because I'm learning how to leverage my time and also not work my ass off, because of course I do work my ass off, but not work my ass off, if that makes sense, because I am notorious for working for long hours of the day and not getting any type of rest, really just like overworking myself. So, and also just recently, I did have a mural project that I completed, and I do talk about it in my newsletter. So if you guys want to sign up to my newsletter, I will be linking it down below in the comment section. Actually, no, wait, the description box or whatever. So yeah, I have like a bunch of new updates lately, and I share them all in my newsletter. So if you really want to read more about my process, what inspires me, and overall like just my personal life and things that I love, they're all gonna be listed on my bi-weekly newsletter. So make sure you check that out or sign up. But yeah, going back to artist block, I feel like with artist block, it's a good and a bad thing. Good because you take time away from art, and you take the time to just like, unwind and gain a fresher perspective on a lot of things. So for example, going to the park, or even going on a road trip, or spending time with my family, watching movies, that all does fuel me. So within that fueling, I then gain inspiration, which then my artist block is not artist block anymore. So then I start creating new pieces, and I'm back on track. So I never really feel bad about getting artist block because I know that I'll always be creative, if that makes sense. So I never really ever say or think that my artist block will never come back, because it will always come back. And it took a while for me to, accept that it happens, and it happens in my own way. I felt that by even watching other artists, that I may end up like them by any chance. Like, oh, well, if this artist, gained their inspiration because of this, then that means that I may gain my inspiration as well. So it's not about what the artist or whoever or the other person is doing or how they cope. It's really how you go about it, or what it's about your experience. And what I mean by that is that we try so hard to relate or try to go off of what other artists are feeling or doing, or go off their advice, but in reality it's more about what resonates with you. So I've had to learn that. I had to set some time to really understand myself, not just as an artist, but as a woman, as a wife, as a sister, as a friend. So by taking the time to do that during my artist block uh, helped me in developing my love and those not so long, those artist blocks. Okay, probably gonna cut that part out. So yeah, developing that sense of self, and really just taking the time to do other things besides just creating art and being on business mode every single day has literally changed the trajectory of my entire my life. So now that, and also I'm getting older, I think it has to deal with me turning 30 next year. So I'm going through a lot of like the existential, whatever the fuck you call it. I'm going through a lot of those like moments of like, aha. So yeah, it's been, that year. It's been a year of just finding myself, and also, understanding that not every opportunity is going to come my way the way I want it to. So speaking of opportunities and, things that's happened this year, I could say that this was probably the best and worst year of my life. I say the worst year because this is probably the year that I've gotten a lot of rejections, a lot of no's, a lot of setbacks, a lot of, payments weren't on time for certain projects that I've done. And it's just been a shithole, literally. Like, it's been a crazy roller coaster. But on the bright side, I've learned a lot of things about myself and my business, things to include in my contracts, the type of art that I want to create, or the direction that I'm going in, and, what I want to put out there in the world, and, what I want to share with other artists, and how I want to help, the art community and be more involved in, the art in that way. So, in the art world or art community. And there's just a lot of different things that I did not take in consideration when, signing up for these opportunities, and, or even the opportunities coming to me. So with those opportunities, I've learned so much about myself, and this is only the beginning. I swear, it's like always a learning experience for a lot of things that I want to pursue in my life. But with time, I know that things will come through. So if you're an artist watching this and you are going through a really rough time, just trust me when I tell you this. Trust me when I tell you, keep going, okay? Continue to love yourself. Continue to create. Always create. Do something inspiring. Do things that make you happy. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for watching my long vlog. I think this is one of my first long vlogs that I've done, but I really want to thank you all for tuning in to my channel, and we are at 613 subscribers. So thank you again for your support, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.